Hello and welcome to our daily news roundup on Atlantic TV. I am Nkechi Techere. Here are our top stories. Nigeria at 65. Federal government unveils all hands on deck as independence theme. Tinubu at UNGA 80. Africa must finance its mineral assets, wield global supply power. Olu of Wari strengthens ties with Oroje of Okpe. Bauchi Electoral Agency urges residents to register for PVCs. Africa CDC partners Novo Nordisk Foundation to strengthen NCD surveillance in 10 countries. Flick says Ballon d'Or setback will drive Yamal to greater heights. Now to the news in full. The federal government has unveiled the official theme for Nigeria's 65th independence anniversary, calling for unity and collaboration to build a greater nation. The Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation announced the theme Nigeria at 65, all hands on deck for a greater nation. The government says it reflects resilience since 1960 and underscores the need for patriotism, peace, and progress under the renewed hope agenda. As part of the anniversary lineup, a special Jamaat prayer will hold on Friday, September 26th, followed by an interdenominational church service on Sunday, September 28th. A world press conference is also scheduled for Monday, September 29th in Abuja. Agencies, private sector players, and civil society groups have been urged to align their programs with the theme, ensuring its message resonates nationwide. The government says this collective spirit is crucial to advancing peace, prosperity, and progress. Nigeria marks 65 years of independence this October, with the federal government insisting that building a greater nation truly requires all hands on deck. From New York, world leaders gathered at the 80th United Nations General Assembly with sharp calls for justice, peace, and economic reform. While President Cyril Ramaphosa condemned Israel's action in Gaza as genocide, Nigeria's President Bola Ahmed Tinubu urged Africa to take charge of its mineral wealth and reshape its place in global supply chains. At the sidelines of the General Assembly, President Tinubu, represented by Vice President Kashim Shettima, spoke at the Africa Minerals Strategy Group Roundtable. He called for African nations to finance their own mineral development, safeguard sovereignty, and climb the value chain from raw exports to green manufacturing. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa, in a fiery address, declared that Israel is committing genocide in Gaza. He cited findings from the UN Independent International Commission of Inquiry, stressing the urgent need for action to end famine and atrocities against Palestinians. Tinubu pledged Nigeria's commitment to a mineral-led renaissance under the Renewed Hope agenda, calling on Africa to unite as one continental bloc in the global economy. The Olu of Wari, His Majesty Ogiamia Towashi III, CFR, has paid a courtesy visit to the Oroje of Okpe, His Majesty Umogu Owure I, Chairman of the Delta State Traditional Council. The visit, which took place on Wednesday, was described as a meeting between brothers. Both monarchs used the occasion to reaffirm their brotherhood and their shared commitment to peace and unity among their kingdoms. At the palace of the Oroja, the two traditional rulers highlighted the importance of integration and peace building, stressing that harmony among traditional institutions is key to stability and development across Delta State. The visit is seen as part of wider efforts by royal fathers in the Niger Delta to foster collaboration, ensure cultural preservation, and build stronger ties that will promote progress for their people. Both monarchs expressed confidence that the renewed brotherhood between Wari and Okpe kingdoms will continue to serve as a model of unity for other communities in Nigeria. The federal government has hailed Flour Mills of Nigeria plc as the only private operator fully meeting obligations under its silo concession revitalization program. The recognition underscores the company's role in advancing food security and agricultural development. Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Abubakar Kyari, said out of 17 silo complexes leased to 5 private firms, only Flour Mills of Nigeria, operating 3 facilities, has met all conditions and is performing optimally. He noted that the program, launched in 2017, is designed to reduce post-harvest losses, stabilize grain prices, and boost national food reserves. Flour Mill's agricultural journey dates back to 1978 with a 10,000-hectare farm in Niger State. Since then, the group has expanded into crops such as cassava, maize, sugarcane, wheat, and soya beans, while investing in storage, aggregation, and distribution. Group Managing Director Boye Olusoya said the recognition highlights FMN's role as a trusted partner in Nigeria's growth, providing jobs, driving food self-sufficiency, and sustaining the environment. Observers say FMN's strategy of backward integration, farmer empowerment, and import substitution is a clear example of private sector alignment with national agricultural goals. Founded in 1960, the company has grown into one of Nigeria's largest agro-allied groups, with operations spanning flour, pasta, sugar, oils, animal feeds, and large-scale farming. With the federal government's commendation, Flour Mills of Nigeria sets a benchmark for private participation in the drive towards sustainable food security. The Bauchi State Independent Electoral Commission has called on residents to take advantage of the ongoing permanent voter cards registration exercise to ensure active participation in the forthcoming elections. Chairperson of the commission, Jamai Abubakar, made the appeal during a sensitization visit to Das local government area. She stressed that obtaining a PVC is the civic responsibility of every Nigerian and the only gateway to exercising voting rights. Abubakar commended Governor Bala Mohammed for the opportunity to serve, pledging to intensify advocacy visits to tackle voter apathy. In his response, the chairman of Das local government, Comrade Mohammed Jibo, represented by Bala Duguri, praised the commission for the sensitization campaign. He assured that the council would mobilize communities at the grassroots to ensure maximum participation, promising support for continued voter education and mobilization. The renewed push comes as the Independent National Electoral Commission begins its nationwide continuous voter registration exercise. Meanwhile, a support group for President Bola Tinubu's re-election has also urged youths in the Southwest to register and collect their PVCs ahead of the 2027 general elections. With the 2027 polls drawing closer, electoral bodies and political groups alike are intensifying efforts to ensure eligible Nigerians are not left out of the democratic process. As Ibadan prepares for the coronation of its 44th Olubadan, former President Olusegun Obasanjo has extended warm congratulations to Oba Abdul Rashid Adewulu Ladoja, urging him to separate tradition from politics in his reign. In a statement from New York, where he is attending the UN General Assembly, Obasanjo prayed for the monarch's long life and wisdom, noting that the throne requires humility, patience, and tolerance. He stressed that traditional rulership should not compete or conflict with political leadership. The Oyo State Government Organizing Committee announced traffic diversions around Makbo Hall, the venue of Friday's coronation. Roads including Biara Junction, Bon Photo, Idi Arere, and Itamerin Junction will be closed from 7 a.m. as security tightens ahead of President Bola Tinubu's expected attendance. Obasanjo reminded the new Olubadan that his role is to unite Ibadan people under culture and heritage while leaving politics to elected leaders. He prayed for God's grace and guidance as Oba Ladoja assumes his new responsibilities. The historic coronation is expected to draw dignitaries from across Nigeria, marking a new chapter in Ibadan's rich traditional history. You're watching our daily news roundup. We'll go for a short break. When we return, more business stories to come.
Behind closed doors, too many suffer in silence. Too many lives are scarred by violence in the very place that should bring peace, the home. Domestic violence is not love, it is pain. It breaks trust, destroys lives and families, and steals futures. Domestic violence is not a private matter. It's a violation of dignity, and it must end. Because hitting a woman does not make you a man, but correcting her in love and staying in peace with her is God's plan. Together, we can raise our voices, protect the vulnerable, and rebuild lives. Say no to silence. Say no to fear. Say no to domestic violence. Powered by Atlantic Media and TV.
When the lights go out, who do you call? Ticado! Ticado Energy Solutions Limited, your plug for electrical power, surveillance system, and entertainment. From expert electrical installation to efficient eco-friendly solar inverter systems, no matter the size, Ticado delivers smart energy solutions designed for today and tomorrow. We also help you secure your space with our cutting-edge security and surveillance system. Enjoy crystal clear entertainment with our professional DSTV and cable TV installation. Visit Ticado today at Block F4, Suite 41 and 42, HFP East Line Plaza, Abraham Adesanya, Aja, Lagos. Or call 0906 902 5025 or 0815 176 6817. Explore our services at ticado.com.ng. Ticado Energy Solutions Limited. Power, protection, peace.
Welcome back. Now to some business stories. The Depot and Petroleum Products Marketers Association of Nigeria, DAPMAN, has called on the Dangote refinery to make petroleum products available at fair prices and through broader distribution networks to end fuel queues nationwide. Speaking on a television program, DAPMAN spokesperson Ikem Ohia dismissed claims of a rift with the refinery, stressing that marketers only want a transparent arrangement that guarantees steady supply. He said while Dangote is the dominant supplier, concerns remain about the price point and whether marketers actually have access to purchase products. Ohia explained that for over 2 decades, DAPMAN members have built a vast distribution network with depots in Lagos, Warri, Port Harcourt, and Calabar. He urged Dangote to use these depots for bulk supply rather than rely mainly on retail gantry sales, which he argued cannot meet national demand. He also emphasized that marketers are not asking for subsidies, but for bulk supply that aligns with global refinery practices. The call comes amid growing tension in the downstream sector. Dangote recently deployed 4,000 CNG-powered trucks for nationwide fuel distribution, a move marketers fear could give the refinery too much control. While billionaire businessman Femi Otedola advised DAPMAN to adapt to market realities, Dangote Refinery insists it will not bear marketers' logistics costs, describing subsidy claims as false and unfounded. With Nigerians still facing long queues at filling stations, stakeholders agree that the resolution of pricing and access concerns will be key to ensuring stable fuel supply across the country. Tensions are rising in Nigeria's aviation sector as 2 major unions accuse operators of violating agreed ground handling charges. The unions have petitioned the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, warning that failure to act could spark industrial unrest. The Air Transport Services Senior Staff Association of Nigeria and the National Union of Air Transport Employees jointly signed the petition. They alleged that ground handling companies are undercutting prices despite a consensus agreement reached earlier this year to standardize charges. Ground handling rates were revised in response to inflation, with charges for a Boeing 737 rising from 70,000 naira to 400,000 naira, and pushback services jumping from 22,000 naira to 200,000 naira. But operators accuse each other of breaching the pact to attract airline clients, stoking a price war in the sector. The unions warned that the NCAA's failure to enforce the agreement could trigger industrial action. They stressed that preserving the safety threshold ground handling charges is vital for fairness, stability, and safety in the aviation industry. The NCAA has yet to respond publicly, though its Director General recently held talks with the EFCC, a move that may signal wider investigations into the alleged breaches. The Africa Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has announced a major partnership aimed at strengthening surveillance of non-communicable diseases across East and Southern Africa. Backed by a multi-million-dollar grant, the initiative targets 10 African Union member states to help tackle the growing health crisis. Africa CDC, with funding support of $2.65 million from the Novo Nordisk Foundation, will roll out a 2-year program to build capacity for NCD monitoring. The Africa Public Health Foundation will serve as fund manager. Officials say the project will scale continent-wide in future years. Africa CDC Director General Dr. Jean Kaseya stressed that NCDs such as diabetes, hypertension, and cancer are rising rapidly, but surveillance systems remain weak. He says the partnership will equip health workers with the tools and skills to generate reliable data for smarter investments and resilient health systems. The Novo Nordisk Foundation echoed this commitment. Chief Scientific Officer Professor Fleming Conradson said the project will enhance data collection on disease burden, risk factors, and health service use, providing a strong base for policy and prevention efforts across Africa. The program, which integrates into Africa's CDC's field epidemiology training program, will embed NCD indicators into existing health systems, marking a crucial step in building Africa's health sovereignty and advancing a new public health order for the continent. Away from that now to sports news, Barcelona coach Hansi Flick insists teenager Lamine Yamal will use his Ballon d'Or disappointment as motivation after finishing runner-up to PSG's Ousmane Dembele. Yamal, who won the Copa Trophy for Best Young Player, finished second to former backup forward Dembele in Monday's Ballon d'Or vote. Flick said the 18-year-old has accepted the result positively and will be even more determined to prove himself in coming seasons. Speaking at a press conference, Flick praised Yamal's maturity, saying he is motivated to show it this season, and maybe next year he will be an option for the Ballon d'Or. I appreciate that many of our players are in this situation. It reflects how strong our last season was, the coach said. Excuse me. Yamal will miss Thursday's clash with Real Oviedo due to a groin problem, while midfielder Gavi faces 4 to 5 months out after knee surgery. Despite the injuries, Flick expressed confidence in his squad, stressing every starting 11 is capable of winning matches. Yamal was pivotal in Barca's domestic treble triumph last season, and his coach believes the Ballon d'Or near miss will only fuel his rise towards becoming one of the world's very best. Liverpool striker Hugo Ekitike has apologized to fans after being sent off for what his manager called a stupid celebration during the Reds League Cup win over Southampton. Ekitike came off the bench to score an 85th minute winner, sealing a 2-1 victory at Anfield. But his joy quickly turned sour when he removed his shirt in celebration, earning a second yellow card and a red just moments after putting Liverpool ahead. Liverpool manager Arne Slot criticized the 23-year-old, describing the incident as needless and stupid. Slot said Ekitike should have credited Federico Chiesa, who provided the assist rather than drawing attention to himself. The French forward later posted an apology on Instagram, saying he got carried away in the emotion of scoring on his League Cup debut. He promised to learn from the mistake as he faces suspension from Liverpool's Premier League trip to Crystal Palace on Saturday. With 3 goals already this season, Ekitike has impressed since his £69 million summer move, but the competition for a starting spot remains fierce, especially with Alexander Isak pushing for more game time. And with that sports news, we come to the end of our daily news roundup for today here on Atlantic TV. Do well to follow us on all our social media platforms for more news stories and updates. Thank you for watching. I am Nkechi Tejere. Have a pleasant day.